I woke up to find myself transmigrated into the role of the malicious childhood friend in a sweet romance novel. I was straddling the cold-faced male lead's lap, about to do something that would get censored by internet regulations. The male lead's lips were bloodied, his face filled with utter despair. As for me, born wicked, forcibly taking my childhood sweetheart, committing countless misdeeds, even more tragically, it was a disastrous start. I had already attempted to force love on the male lead, though unsuccessfully. There's still hope. I desperately tried to make amends. If I said my yoga teacher told me this move is good for strengthening the body, would you believe me? If I accidentally forced myself on my childhood sweetheart, and he already has someone he likes, but now I've come to my senses, how can I get him to forgive me? Waiting online. It's urgent. If I had time, I should probably post a help-seeking QA. Unfortunately, I don't have time. Heaven above, judge the loyal from the treacherous. I must have stayed up too late and lost my mind. When I opened my eyes, I found myself straddling a male model. The male model wasn't alluring. He looked utterly exhausted. There were traces of blood and tears at the corners of his mouth. I quite enjoyed running my fingers through his hair. It was incredibly fluffy. Jenny, come down and I'll forgive you. The male model's indifferent voice was slightly hoarse, as if he hadn't eaten for days. Feels pretty good. Wait, Jenny. I jumped off the man in an instant, but my name is Winnie. Something's off, very off. I stared at the 300 square meter living room, lost in thought. This is probably the karma I got for breaking down and reading novels in the middle of diligently writing my thesis. I rubbed my eyes 3 times before finally admitting it. I've become a two-dimensional character. I transmigrated into the villainess of a sweet romance novel. The childhood friend of the male lead. In the early stages, I resorted to coercion and oppression, bullying both women and men. Later, the female lead, Sophia, who had grown stronger, repaid me in my own coin. My childhood friend Lucas, who originally pitied me, grew to despise me after my repeated self-destructive actions. In the end, my family was ruined, and no one even came to claim my ashes. The author's technique is brilliant. The scene of the fall gave me goosebumps, and I couldn't help but shudder. Covering my face with both hands, I peeked at the man through my fingers. This is no male model. This is a demon. The world shattered like an egg. The sky collapsed. Everything crumbled. Can the Empire's Rose come help me ignite the spark of friendship? You didn't know I've been learning yoga recently, did you? The teacher said I'm delicate and weak. That move just now was purely for physical fitness. Rubbing hands like a fly in urgency. I had no choice but to speak up on the spot. TCH, Lucas looked pale, but his appearance was undeniably dazzling. To be honest, I loved him, so obsessively that I resorted to extreme measures just to keep him by my side. But my dear brother Brown could never have imagined how his childhood neighbor could turn out like this. His worldview shattered. He refused to eat. Uncle Bob, please call the doctor for me. Life has indeed improved. Now I even have a butler and a family physician. I originally intended to do something intimate and sent everyone away, but now the situation is critical. I need to save him quickly before he really dies and this world collapses. Otherwise, I might truly be doomed for eternity. I drugged him, and Lucas, powerless, could only lie there, breathing weakly, probably didn't want to see me, with eyes tightly shut, casting a shadow under the dim yellow light, looked far too frail, collarbones sunken deep. The plot had already progressed to the mid-early stages. I was so desperate for his love and protection that I couldn't bear to let him interact with others, so I tied him up and brought him home. 3 days, 2 days later, at the World Mechanical Competition, the third-generation mechanical prosthetic limb developed by his team was unveiled, capable of interfacing with the human brain. Subsequently, it was merged into the Brown family conglomerate, marking the point where Sophia and Lucas's powerful partnership in both love and career was set on the right track. He should be at the downtown incubator discussing the project with his teammates right now, but Jenny was blinded by his close contact with Sophia, even though it was just normal communication between teammates. Excuse me, where are the police? What's wrong with your competition team? Don't you know how to call the police? Jenny has plenty of money and can easily get away unscathed. Growing up stumbling and twisted in an environment devoid of love, a plane crash took away her parents, leaving her surrounded by wolves and tigers eager to devour her inheritance. With no trace of compassion, fortunately, the elders from both sides stood firm, protecting the family's assets. The James and Brown families had deep ties. After the tragedy struck the James family, The Browns took pity on Jenny and often looked after her. Lucas was like a flawless jade. A clear spring, though his demeanor was cool and aloof, his conduct was impeccable in every way, radiant as the sun and moon, a proud son of heaven, yet it was precisely this familiarity that gave Jenny hope. From possessiveness to coercion, one wrong step led to another. Mr. Brown is fine, he just needs to sleep it off. The doctor looked exhausted, his hair disheveled, clearly having been dragged out of bed. Indeed, at 3 in the morning, the young lady was still awake. Her beloved was unwell, and she had to get up to work. All right, thank you for your trouble. The consultation fee will be doubled this time. The worker deeply empathized. Now, I'm no longer a welfare student living on $600 a month, but a wealthy woman with billions in assets. Uncle Bob saw the doctor out, while Lucas was already fast asleep, breathing lightly and rhythmically. It's great to live another day, miss. Shall I escort young Master Brown back to his room? Uncle Bob has been my butler since childhood. With my parents absent, my grandfather assigned him to take care of me. He knew I was heading down the wrong path, tried to stop me, even crossed boundaries to scold me, but in the end, it was ineffective. In the original story, it was also him who let Lucas out, which is why I didn't make a major mistake during my university years. But I remained unrepentant and headed toward my downfall. It's okay, I'll go with you. Lucas is nearly 190 centimeters tall with a well-proportioned build, not heavy at all. I didn't contribute much effort, just served as a decorative accessory. Uncle Bob, what's for lunch tomorrow? Does the young lady not want breakfast? Uncle Bob was confused. Uncle Bob couldn't understand. These past few days, I'd been terrified that Lucas might run away. So I've been sharing a bed with him and waking up early to keep an eye on him. I don't really feel like eating, because I can't get up. It's almost 4 o'clock, even the roosters are about to crow. Lucas went to lie down in the master bedroom while I slept in the guest room. Damn capitalists, the bed is too comfortable, but now I'm the capitalist, so that's great. Wait, no, I rolled over and got out of bed, glancing at my phone. It was already 12:30. Without even bothering to put on slippers, I rushed out, only to find the master bedroom door tightly shut. Mr. Brown hasn't come out yet. The bodyguard reported to me as usual. Got it, you should go rest too. Sending more people to guard would practically be house arrest. It was almost 2 o'clock, yet there was still no movement inside the room. Could she really have starved to death? That glucose injection from yesterday should have worn off by now. Forget it, never mind, just go for it. Actually feeling unsure. Frantically pacing back and forth at the door. Click, the door lock clicked open. Big brother, you're awake. Are you hungry? Do you want to eat? What would you like? I can ask Aunt Lucy to make it for you now, or I can go out and buy something. Dealing with a childhood sweetheart brother, seeking forgiveness. What's the way? Of course, it's about winning sympathy. A lover's affection is too dazzling, but a brother's love is as easy to grasp as turning one's hand. Step back into the role of a younger sister, and from then on, with the same devotion as A and B treated C reach a sibling consensus. He visibly froze, because I hadn't called him that in a long time. To bridge the distance between us, I started calling him Lucas since high school. Jenny, don't play games anymore, I'm really tired. Lucas's lip was already scabbed over, the one I bit last night. Though I missed the moment, the memory of that touch was quite soft, like konjac jelly. Jenny, snapped out of my daze, I suppressed my lustful thoughts. I smiled obsequiously. Brother, I swear I'm not playing any tricks this time. I thought about it all night and realized how terribly wrong I was to do such awful things to you. I'm truly sorry. If you need any compensation or anything else, just name it, and I'll do my best. The wariness in Lucas's eyes faded slightly, but his brows remained furrowed, his expression still dark. But this was probably the best morning's sleep he'd had, since my eyes weren't staring at him the whole time. To show my sincerity, I obsequiously handed his phone back to him. Here's your phone back. The moment I got the phone back, it meant freedom. Lucas's expression relaxed as he pressed the power button. I was free too, rid of that hot potato. I didn't dare to peek secretly. There must have been hundreds of notifications already. Sure enough, the buzzing was deafening. I looked around, avoiding eye contact with him. The floor is so white, the ceiling is so white. This t-shirt looks nice. Wait. Why am I still wearing last night's t-shirt? There's even lipstick I smeared on the shoulder pad. I'm holding a bowl of steaming hot chicken soup, blissfully content. cafeteria food is practically pig slop. It's the same everywhere. Aunt Lucy keenly noticed the change in my attitude and was greatly relieved, preparing a large table of dishes tailored to both my and Lucas's tastes. I'm not picky and enjoy everything, but Lucas couldn't eat much. Having gone too long without food and only able to consume liquids, I silently swallowed a mouthful of soup, feeling guilty. Meow, don't do anything wrong again. Perhaps because his throat was moistened and he had enough sleep, Lucas's voice sounded clearer than yesterday. I lifted my head from the bowl. I understand, brother. He called me by my nickname. He called me by my nickname. Progress is being made. Sibling consensus will be reached soon. I won't deny that the old Jenny was wrong. In the game of love, there are no winners. Besides, Jenny wasn't even a contender. She never made it to the table. I haven't crossed the line into unforgivable evil yet. There's still time for me to be a good person. The meal was filled with mixed emotions, and both of us had our own thoughts weighing on our minds. Oh no, for people. Aunt Lucy was pleased, wearing a knowing smile. Uncle Bob looked at me approvingly. Because without today's ice-breaking incident, he wouldn't have indulged me either. With one report, I got beaten with a stick at my grandfather's house and couldn't get out of bed for 3 days. The phantom pain is starting. Lucas is probably replying to messages. There's a smile on his face that I haven't seen in a long time. Meow, I'll be back at the incubator park this afternoon. If you're coming, contact me first. The sunlight fell just right, with the villa catching light from all sides. Bright and radiant, Lucas's fair fingertips paired with slender knuckles were flawless. Don't worry, I won't disturb you anymore. Why would I contact you and invite bad luck? I lowered my head, avoiding his gaze. Faintly, it seemed he parted his lips to say something, but in the end, I heard no sound. Oh, I did hear something. The click of the door lock. Still not used to living in a villa. The sunlight streaming through the double doors is even more intense. Lucas took those 2 steps with the triumphant air of a canary breaking free from its cage. Uncle Bob, you go see him off. I don't feel at ease. All right, I admit I have no backbone. Might as well salvage what's left of this relationship. How wonderful, I'm free too. And Lucas, he's broken free, open and above board, with solid justification. I did it. How wonderful, another day survived. It's been so long since we've seen the young lady smile like this. Aunt Lucy wiped her tears with her apron. I slowly typed out a question mark. Life is full of flavor, with domineering CEO quotes at your fingertips. Aunt Lucy, don't worry, I'll be even happier making delicious food every day. I stood up and patted Aunt Lucy's vest to comfort her. I didn't expect her to cry even harder. Young miss, you've finally agreed to eat. You become so thin, just skin and bones. I won't be able to explain this to the master. Okay, hopeless. I might as well continue eating my meal. With a full stomach after the meal, I was about to lie down like a corpse when a melodious piano tune drifted into my ears. I suddenly came to my senses. The dead memories started attacking me. This is a sweet romance novel, not an infinite flow story. Right, this four-handed rendition of Canon was treasured by Jenny. Now I'm listening with chills running down my spine, because the last warning call Lucas made before Jenny's death still played this very tune. This melody that carried Jenny's youthful secrets and hidden emotions, truly the Canon effect. The incoming call was from Mother Sia, mentally prepared to kneel and apologize, but there was no scolding or reprimand as expected. Sweetie meow, I heard from that boy Lucas that you're sick. Are you feeling better now? Do you want Auntie to come see you? My heart ached. Lucas. My savior, truly my bro, I'm much better now. Auntie, don't worry. After chatting for a while, Lucas used my recent illness and hospitalization as an excuse for his days of being out of contact. Thank you for your great kindness, male lead. This humble villainess will now take her leave and continue to contribute positively to your love story in the future. Despite my eyes burning with exhaustion, I still couldn't fall asleep. If the caller hadn't been someone other than Lucas's mother, I would have truly believed I'd entered an infinite loop, though it wasn't much better. The moment I saw the name, my heart skipped a beat. Harry, in our social circle, there are 2 famously spoiled young ladies, one being me, and the other is her. Fate had it that the impoverished student she fell for at first sight, Luna, happened to be Sophia's childhood sweetheart. Ah, yet another classic case where childhood friends lose to sudden newcomers. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. 2 villainous supporting female characters have teamed up. The Canon effect truly lives up to its name. What are you up to, Jenny? I couldn't reach you for days. I thought you'd actually gotten with Lucas, but turns out it's nothing special. Harry is the epitome of a domineering older sister type, towering at 172 centimeters with long legs, an incredible waist-to-hip ratio, and a voice that's magnetically resonant by default. Hey, 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 Harry. I think I've transcended. Transcended what? What crazy idea are you scheming now? Don't tell me you suddenly remembered that 800k you donated for marriage blessings went down the drain. I froze for half a second. Sis, don't lick your lips when you wake up at midnight. Maybe it really did go down the drain. Harry, I think I'm a bit tired. Then go sleep it off. After you wake up, come to the incubator park for some fun, before I could finish asking. The young lady quickly hung up the phone. The third cannon sounded. Jenny, you've got some nerve. Addicted to playing hide and seek. Huh? Where's Lucas? Where have you hidden our godlike Lucas? Do you have any idea the chaos you've caused in the incubator these past 2 days? The project is stuck at his part, and the whole team is going crazy. His phone's off, and he's nowhere to be found. We were about to call the police. Was it you? What did you do to him? Leo's piercing voice, filled with unmistakable accusation, exploded through the phone, each word hammering the label of kidnapper onto me. My temples throbbed as a tidal wave of guilt crashed over me. The fragile confidence I'd just built about turning over a new leaf instantly teetered on the brink. Leo, can you please speak properly? I tried to steady my voice while my mind raced to find an excuse. I've been sick at home these past few days, and Lucas, as my brother, came to visit and take care of me. That's all. The excuse was so flimsy it made me blush, but since it was Lucas's own explanation, it should work on Mrs. Lucas, and maybe on Leo too. I was out of options. Lucas, where did you go? Lucas is back. God, Lucas. The noise over there gradually grew louder. Leo, give me the phone. It's Lucas. Buzz. My mind instantly went blank. Oh no. That fragile bit of trust one just built. Could it be shattered already? There was a rustling sound on the other end of the line. As if the phone had changed hands, my heart was pounding so hard it felt like it might leap out of my throat. I could almost picture Lucas holding the phone, his handsome face frozen in an expression of icy disdain laced with mockery. A brief, suffocating silence. Then, Lucas's voice came through the receiver, calm and steady, yet piercing my ears like an icicle. Jenny. He used my full name, not meow. My throat tightened. Unable to utter a single word, he didn't seem to need my response either. Just added in that unnervingly calm, almost oppressive tone, you're quite skilled at falling ill. Click. The phone call was abruptly ended. The busy tone beeped incessantly, like a mocking countdown to my fate. My nose suddenly tingled with sourness. So sarcastic. Miss, what's wrong? You look so pale. Aunt Lucy had somehow approached, watching me with concern. I slowly put down the phone and pressed the power button to turn it off. Aunt Lucy, my voice was as dry as sandpaper rubbing together. Do you think, if I donate a golden statue to the temple now, Buddha will bless me with lifelong health and safety? A disastrous start. No, I think this is what truly feels like the sky falling and the earth splitting apart. The canary I just released immediately discovered that its owner not only kidnapped him but also lied in front of outsiders to cover up the crime, potentially even damaging his reputation in front of the team. With Lucas's somewhat rigid personality, the calmer he appears on the surface, the more terrifying the storm brewing inside might be. I slumped onto the cold leather sofa, staring at the luxurious crystal chandelier on the ceiling, feeling for the first time how desolate and hopeless this 300 square meter house could be. Self-rescue, where's the way out? Waiting online. It's not just urgent, it's life-threatening, like a boneless salted fish. I lay sprawled on the expensive sofa for a full half hour. My mind went from blank to racing, desperately trying to claw out a glimmer of hope from the despair. If I were to flee overnight now, I have both my passport and visa, and enough money to last. But the Brown family has considerable influence, and Lucas will practically rule the world in the future. The probability of being dragged back from the ends of the earth and having my ashes scattered is 99%. Forget it. Should I rush to the incubator park now, drop to my knees with a thud in front of Lucas, and cling to his leg while bawling my eyes out in repentance? I shake my head. No, the image is too ridiculous. It's totally out of character. Lucas would probably just call security to drag me out, or call the police. Harry would definitely seize this chance to step on me and compete to be the only top socialite in the capital's elite circle. and there would absolutely be troublemakers on the side adding fuel to the fire, filming and posting it on the campus forum. I can already imagine the headline: shocking, vicious rich girl goes berserk in public, kneels after failed love confession, social death plus physical death, a double whammy. Forget it. What should I do? Forget it. Let's go to the incubator park first. I have some recollection of this spectacle. Although it didn't cause any setbacks for Lucas's career, it posed a great threat to my life. I had someone swap Lucas's data materials. The good show Harry mentioned is that Lucas's team is already in complete disarray. Initial hard drive formatted, all test data wiped clean. Currently, team members only have partial backup data. As for how I knew, it was because the fourth Canon ringtone played before the phone shut down. There's a mole in their team. The key is that I was the one who turned them. I was fully armed, just missing a face-covering balaclava. Simon won't give up until he sees me, even though I've already made my demands clear over the phone. Don't make any rash moves. It's best to quietly return the data. You know Lucas's methods. Jenny, are you playing me? Simon clenched his fists and glared at me fiercely. He took such a huge risk to betray the team and his own pride, after being trampled under my money. Going through all this trouble, only to switch back. Simon, this is a notice, not a discussion, the original one. 5 million will be transferred to your account in full, and I'll arrange for your sister's hospital transfer afterward. Right now, you just need to take the money and do the job. I wasn't the slightest bit afraid. I went out with 10 bodyguards, exuding confidence from every pore. Aren't you afraid I'll tell Lucas? Simon was clearly so angry he started spouting nonsense. The reason I used him was simple. He was on Lucas's team and had weaknesses I could exploit. Most importantly, he was jealous of Lucas. He was the top scholar who came from a mountain village, but apart from his academic credentials, he had nothing. But Lucas was different. Looks, family background, and education were merely embellishments to him. Dare you? I cast a cold glance over. I don't like being threatened, and no one can threaten me. He fell silent, merely glaring at me with resentment. I'll keep my promise. You're free to speak out. I don't care, but think carefully about the consequences. With that said, I had no intention of dragging this on any longer and asked Uncle Bob to see me out. Jenny, is this what you meant by saying you've realized your mistake? Before I could even react, the icy interrogation struck me dumb. Well, now even Simon has nothing to say. The parking lot was so silent that only Lucas' voice echoed through it. I glared at him. Get lost. Uncle Bob is in critical condition. You drive first. I was really trying to avoid running into Lucas, but Uncle Bob was too rigid, glancing at the rearview mirror. Miss, young Master Brown is calling you. I was on the verge of tears. Simon froze the moment he heard Lucas speak. It wasn't until I told him to scram that he snapped out of it, stumbling and crawling his way out of the parking lot. Click. Lucas opened the rear car door, his gaze fixed on me, in the cramped space. I had nowhere to hide. I can explain too. Either you come down, or I go up. Lucas's voice was as cold as ice shards, making the parking lot feel even chillier. You come up. I instinctively scooted over to make space. Uncle Bob was also very considerate and got out of the car by himself. Oh no, please don't leave me alone. I watched Uncle Bob walk away with reluctance. Explain. Lucas's voice pulled my gaze back. Oh, I thought I was going to get beaten up. Because I've had a profound realization and suddenly understood that I've done many bad things before. Now I'm making amends. Really, believe me, so pale, so weak, neither justified nor confident, like a scoundrel making repeated promises. Jenny, which one is the real you? I slowly typed out a question mark, glancing at him guiltily. Could it be that he's noticed something? I think my acting is pretty good. Loyalty to my brother. Sternness in business dealings. Very spoiled, very willful. I'm right here, I said with an awkward smile, not sure if he believed me or not. I took a USB drive out of my bag. This was part of the deal. Stealing the data and keeping a backup with me. I didn't look, don't worry, because I couldn't understand it anyway. Whether Simon is trustworthy in the future is for you to judge. Wishing you success. Of course he will succeed. One more blessing, a little more forgiveness, a little more life. Lucas took the USB drive. Though I couldn't tell if he truly listened to me. Trust isn't something built overnight, especially for someone like me, already collapsed into ruins. Thank you. Lucas said nothing more, perhaps too weary to speak further with me, yet I still had selfish thoughts, hoping he wouldn't make it public, because even though it started with me, the only one who would ultimately face consequences was Simon, in the original story. The data wasn't recovered, it was Lucas and his team who worked through the night to reconstruct it. Lucas never believed in phantom viruses and eventually traced it back to Simon. Jenny still had a conscience and had been supporting Simon's younger sister all along, but for Simon, Lucas mobilized the Brown family, sending a lawyer's letter directly to him. Jenny was also completely confined, her reputation utterly ruined. I sympathize with his background, from a small town to J City. He walked a long path, but it was the wrong one. The life of Heaven's favorite must be smooth sailing. Lucas's team achieved a resounding victory in the competition, taking first place and securing J University's first gold medal in nearly 3 years. Simon, however, left the lab 3 months after the competition. It was a standard withdrawal procedure, with the reason being to care for his seriously ill younger sister. When I heard the news, I was shopping at the mall. Staying away from the protagonist's storyline is the best strategy for survival. Living a luxurious life is like a gift from heaven. Since I'm stuck here, I might as well take care of myself. The long silent canon in D started echoing in my ears again. I took a deep breath. I'll change after finishing the call. TSK, Miss James, you did this, didn't you? Harry was quite impressed. Guess, the Chanel perfume stung my nose. Seriously speaking, you did a great job, cutting off Lucas's right-hand man. I'll take that as a compliment, but I really didn't want to. Although I've escaped the original fate, I still lost the chance to cling to the male lead's coattails and make big money. I really will take that as a compliment. Aren't they back yet? Sophia and Lucas are about to kiss. Really, that's fantastic. I almost wanted to cheer with my arms raised, but I think I heard the sound of the air freezing. Jenny, how about I book you a psychiatric appointment? My family's private hospital has pretty good reviews. I politely declined. I'm perfectly sober. Forced fruits aren't sweet, and I don't care for them. I suppose I walked right into the young lady's line of fire. I insist on plucking that forced fruit to taste it myself. Even if it's not sweet, it'll quench my thirst. Worth it. Rumor has it she's been getting quite close to Luna recently. He flees. She pursues, leaving him no room to escape. The facts prove that I can't escape the plot that's coming. J University versus Q University basketball friendly match. Being the student council president is unavoidable. Winning the presidency by just 1 vote over Sophia means I can't step down now. Seeing my glamorous photo at the top of the leadership announcement board, I'll endure it. Yeah, right. This is where I'll inevitably cross paths with the female lead. I've taken 6 leaves of absence, including but not limited to being hospitalized due to illness, being physically disabled and limping, not liking to watch basketball games. I almost came out and said I hate men, but not a single person believed me, as if they were under a spell. I retreated, advancing by retreating. I don't want to go to the live event. At school, I can't afford the extravagance of having 10 bodyguards. It would be too conspicuous, with such limited support at the moment. I can't help feeling a bit insecure. No, as the leader of the student council, you must take the first position and fulfill your duties. Why is this youth league teacher being so stubborn? Jenny, seize this excellent opportunity. It's the organization's trust in you. Old Wong from the Youth League Committee adjusted his oval-framed glasses and spoke earnestly. Such great trust indeed. Seems like they trust everyone, even to the point of trusting their hair right off their heads. Senior. Where should I put this? Senior, look at the schedule here. Senior, this draft, pure workhorse fate. To avoid the hustle and bustle, I simply abandoned the front desk and moved behind the scenes to guard the supplies. Senior, we need a few boxes of water up front. All right, just a moment. I signed the form and pushed the trolley to see her out. Senior, I can't push it. Could you help me? The little girl was very nervous. Her small face flushed red. To push the plot forward. They're not even bothering to act anymore, making a little girl carry water. Seems like men are extinct. All right, let's go. I grabbed the handrail. Just hold it steady in front. Fortunately, I possess Herculean strength and overwhelming might. If you can't escape it, change it. As philosopher Jenny once said, in the original story, I orchestrated this entire competition from start to finish. Everything from commentary to logistics was perfectly organized, but by then, my reputation had already taken a sharp downturn due to the mechanical competition incident, almost beyond redemption. During the basketball game, I became even more jealous and competitive. pushing Sophia off the bleachers, resulting in a mild concussion. According to the original setup, Sophia was in the C bleachers. I'll deliver water straight to the court without getting in the way. The score is neck and neck now. 57-58. Q University 58. Halftime. The players were all drenched in sweat. Not caring about appearances as they lifted their jerseys to wipe their brows, fresh from the game, each one of them boasted a solid 8-pack. But who's going to do something about the overwhelming stench of sweat in the air? I refrained from covering my nose purely out of politeness. Lucas was tall and slender, with a white towel draped over his head, his face flushed from exertion, to avoid any suspicion. No, to showcase J University's hospitality. I averted my gaze and walked toward the Q University team. Kathy, take them and move these boxes over to our side. The little girl was panting from exhaustion but still obediently nodded at me. Well, young miss, what brings you to our side in such good spirits? Hearing that voice, I immediately sensed something was off. When I turned around, a large face was right in front of me. Dude, your full coverage eyeliner looks really good. Kevin, the second son of the Davis family, is a slacker who dabbles in everything: racing cars, rock music, tattoos, you name it, skydiving, alpine skiing, extreme sports. Nothing's off the table, yet he's never died doing any of them. That's some serious luck, but in the storyline, he seems to be just an extra. I really envy him, living so freely, with that quarter-German heritage perfectly reflected in his face. What's wrong? Mesmerized by my handsome face. No, it's your sweat stinking up the place. Get away from me. He was standing too close, his warm breath tickling my neck. Got it, miss. He didn't move away but pressed even closer to me. There was a commotion behind me. Meow, come here. Lucas had somehow moved behind me without me noticing. All right, brother, I'm coming right over. The sibling consensus mark stacks. The break wasn't long. The second half was even more intense. Lucas and Kevin seemed to be at odds. But I couldn't be bothered to watch because Sophia still fell. Damn plot. Serving the people is my duty, so I grabbed a male classmate to carry Sophia to the infirmary. Jenny, you're something else. You asked Luna to take care of her. Another canon plays. But I only dared to listen for 3 seconds. After Harry's outburst, I choked up for half a second. Is it possible that Luna is a member of the executive committee? Silence is the afternoon's Cambridge. The glow of sunset streaming in carried no hint of ambiguity. Your left foot still can't move. Let me carry you. Sophia wasn't badly hurt. This time she only fell from the second row and sprained her ankle. No need. Sophia's complexion isn't particularly fair, but her skin tone is even, far from being sallow or emaciated. Her round eyes give her a highly approachable appearance. But I knew better than to rush in and invite trouble. Jenny, could you help me? I didn't take a single step out of the infirmary, my face filled with shock. I initially intended to turn back, but after a moment's thought, I decided against it. Who knows what the plot might force me to do if I face her. I'm not very steady on my feet, and since we're in the same dorm building, Luna isn't suitable. Could I trouble you to walk me part of the way? Her deer-like eyes fixed on me, making me somewhat uneasy. I nervously fiddled with the hem of my skirt. Better to avoid unnecessary trouble. No need. I've already contacted your roommate to pick you up. I have some other matters to attend to. Let's agree to leave each other alone. Also, because the young mistress has to slave away for the school again. Just arrived at the court, and it's like someone hit the reset button. Back to the infirmary again. Classmate, is it you again? The on-duty doctor glanced uncertainly at the medical record. Yes, I'm here to fill in his information. Damn it, I was the one who filled in the student information just now too. Kevin was unusually injured during the final 3-point jump shot. He accidentally landed on someone's foot. I suggest renaming this book to The World of Sprained Ankles. My good-for-nothing cousin finally took a tumble. Harry couldn't stop grinning. You're laughing way too loudly. I tugged at her skirt. A meter away was the dagger-like glare Kevin threw at him. He twisted his ankle, not his brain. Harry, if you've got nothing to do, go find something. Kevin laughed in exasperation. Their bickering was like children playing house. I just love watching you stumble. Grandpa already knows. So you're staying at the old house this week. Kevin had no choice. The old man was the only one who could truly rein him in. Later, we were all pushed aside. Since the injury happened at J University, the school took full responsibility. And even the youth league committee leaders were summoned in a panic. After all, This was the second young master of the Davis family. Harry was happy to watch the show, but as the event organizer, I couldn't leave, and Lucas, being the basketball team captain, couldn't step away either, but the positioning felt a bit odd. Harry felt uncomfortable standing in the middle. How about we switch places? It feels weird for me to be in the center, Lucas, and I need to keep our distance. Sorry to trouble you, Sister Harry, I cozied up and playfully acted cute. Stop right there. I think you've been acting a bit crazy lately. You might want to consider our hospital. I'll give you a 10% discount. I rolled my eyes at her. My math is fine, and so is my brain. Thanks. The stream of people offering their sympathies came and went, and by the time I was finally allowed to leave, my legs had gone numb from standing so long. Wait, teacher, I'm feeling a bit bored being alone. How about Jenny stays to keep me company? A man-made disaster, purely man-made. Now it was my turn to feel resentful. The target of Harry's mockery shifted. Jenny, I believe you're capable of handling such a task. Who can understand this kind of pressure? A group of school leaders staring straight at you. Overcoming fear of authority starts with you. But as for me, I can't do it. Okay, teacher, I'll stay, anyway. The car from the old house will come to pick him up soon. The cramped school infirmary emptied out, leaving only me, Harry, who was forced to stay by her grandfather, Lucas, who hadn't left, and Kevin with his leg in a sling. Meow, you go ahead, I'll stay here and keep watch. Lucas, who had been silent, finally spoke up. I slowly typed out a question mark. Harry was practically holding popcorn. I think your long march is coming to an end. Double the question marks. Stay away from the main couple, stay away from the plotline. It starts with you and me. It's fine, Harry can't leave either, she'll keep me company. You go ahead with your work. Sophia sprained her ankle too, go check on her. What are you doing? Pushing him towards Sophia, Harry pinched my waist and whispered in my ear, obviously, to divert attention and reduce the obstacles in twisting the melon. None of your business. The young lady was angry, plopping down onto the recliner with a huff. Hey, staying overnight should be up to the patient's wishes, right, Lucas? Stop being an eyesore here. Having Meow around is enough. I forced a bitter smile, glaring at him through gritted teeth. That's right, bro, you should go. Seriously, you really don't like Lucas anymore. Harry spoke to me in a rare, normal tone. I cleared my throat. What does good bros, brother? Hey, Kevin chimed in, stirring the pot. Get lost. Harry and I shot dagger-like glares. Shut up and go to sleep. Exactly. So now my feelings for him are purely sibling-like, nothing romantic. Wow, you've changed. Harry's phone buzzed with a text message. Gotta go. I'll be back when the car from the old house arrives. Before the words had even finished, they were already at the door. Guess where she went? Lucas squinted at me with one eye. Library. I didn't even look up, keeping my eyes closed to rest. Correct. Lucas received intel from the library in his hand. At this time, Luna must have gone back to study. The library's fixed NPC has respawned, of course, Harry. With nothing better to do, would go chase after love. I'm actually a bit sleepy now. After being busy for most of the day, I finally have some free time. Phew, the big shot is gone. I turned my head to hide under the shade of the tree and called Uncle Bob. Before I could dial, a strong tugging sensation pulled at my elbow. I twisted away in a swift motion. Don't scream. Lucas stood before me like a wall, covering my lips with his hand. I whimpered and pried his fingers away. Bro. What are you doing? He seemed even angrier, his face darkening with fury. Don't call me bro. Okay, brother. Seems like he doesn't like two-syllable names. Don't call me brother. Lucas, master brother. Which one do you like? I was getting a little annoyed. Call me Lucas. Lucas. Damn. It seems like the plot has gone wrong. Wait a minute. This isn't right. Meow. Can you, try to have less contact with Kevin? He lowered his head, pressing his forehead against mine. I quickly moved away. It's a bit hot today. Don't rub. My foundation will smudge. Meow. Don't change the subject. Did you misunderstand something? Lucas's voice was usually cool, but now it carried a rare hint of grievance. I didn't do anything, actually. Maybe you misunderstood. Oh, Sophia fell down by herself. I didn't touch her. I even took her to. Ouch. He completely lowered his head and bit the corner of my lips. Just like that night, I fell silent. I don't like her. It's only you. Lucas has a cool, pale complexion, but now it's flushed with a rosy hue. Oh dear, the plot's gone off the rails. Wait, give me just 1 minute. I watched the clock for 60 seconds while Lucas held me by the waist, staring at me the entire time. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my head. Jenny, meow, meow, ding, custom extra chapter unlocked. Congratulations, host, for unlocking the extra chapter. Due to the reader base rejecting the original work's values, such as maliciously vilifying women, female rivalry, and distorting female friendships, an additional extra chapter has been specially released. This chapter features the female antagonist returning to her true nature, with a plan for everyone's happy ending. So, I've been transported into the extra chapter. Theoretically, yes, because you had previously expressed dissatisfaction with the original work. I thought about it carefully, and indeed, that was the case. I remember cursing that everyone in this book was an idiot, so what's the situation now? As a supporting female character deeply familiar with the original story, you survived for 20 years following the original plot. Due to drastic plot fluctuations, you've awakened real-world memories and mistakenly believed yourself to be a mid-story transmigrator. So, I was reborn from birth. I'm a bit shaky. You can understand it that way. What about my real body then? It's in a deep sleep. But the book world and reality are temporally separated, so host doesn't need to worry. What should I do now? Should I still follow the plot? No need. The customized extra chapter only requires reaching a happy ending. Feel free to improvise. Host, a flash of white light passed before my eyes, and the smell of disinfectant lingered in my nose. Meow, meow, how are you? Feeling better? The white mist before my eyes dissipated, revealing Lucas's somewhat haggard face. You look even more worn out than the first time I saw you. I gently touched the corner of his lips. Lucas, however, pulled me into his embrace, holding me so tightly I could barely breathe. Don't talk to me under the scorching sun next time. The doctor couldn't figure out the cause after a long examination. All symptoms and indicators were normal, except for some signs of heatstroke. It really was just being delicate and weak, suffering from heatstroke. I see. I tried hard to recall how far we got yesterday. Meow, I love you. If you don't dislike me, can I try to pursue you? Lucas seemed stunned, gripping my hand tightly. Don't say you don't need me. Don't say you want to leave me. Don't just treat me as a brother. But what do you like about me? I've done so many bad things. Did you murder or set fires? I shook my head. Did you break the law? I shook my head again. Then what bad thing did you do? I was even more shocked. Where was the elegant and aloof male lead I was promised? This sounds like a legal drama. But I'm always bullying Sophia. So what? You can do anything you want. So you let her into the lab and helped her get a scholarship to make up for it? Not really. He shook his head. She earned all these opportunities herself. I just tried to allocate some resources to her as much as possible. There's another reason. She's a beneficiary of the QX Public Welfare Fund. That public welfare fund from our family. I vaguely remember this. I was a premature baby, and since the year I was born, my parents have been donating 1% of the group's annual income to the fund as a blessing, supporting remote areas. Yes, that's how she was able to come here. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for donating such a magnificent golden statue to me, defying fate. I met Lucas's gaze. But why didn't she come to me? There were so many chances to make things clear, because the way she looks at you is too purposeful. I don't feel at ease. Lucas didn't explain much. Gently leaning against the crook of my neck, meow, being needed by you, loving you, has already become my habit, but you were very resistant to me during those days you stayed at my place. Suddenly, I felt the cheek pressed against mine grow slightly warm, because you kiss me every night, but you're too young. I pushed him away and punched him hard. He grabbed my hand and pressed a kiss to the back of it. Meow, you always see me as your brother, but I love you. That title feels like a forbidden line. When you were 10 and hid in my arms, I could never let you go again. My nose tingled with sourness, as if I'd returned to that night when my parents died in the plane crash. So this was the truth. So clear, so undeniably real. All of it truly happened to me. Well, I'll think about it then. Miss James, I heard you got heatstroke from chatting with someone and ended up in the hospital. Ha ha ha, are you okay? The mockery carried a hint of concern. Classic Harry. I'm fine, Harry, but I think feelings might be changing. Jenny, we can temporarily cut ties for now. When good fortune comes, even the soul rejoices. Even canon sounds more pleasant. So it turns out meeting the female lead doesn't have to be repulsive. But with those past events between us, the estrangement can't simply be erased. Sophia has already given up her sponsorship spot through work-study programs, scholarships, and part-time jobs. However, the foundation did not cancel her subsidy and promised that her tuition and miscellaneous fees would be covered by the company. At the same time, the vacated spot was reassigned to another girl from a mountainous region. By my junior year, I gradually began monitoring the foundation's activities, adjusting the sponsorship ratios, identifying recipients, and ensuring as much as possible that the funds were used for children's development. That same year, Sophia chose to teach in underdeveloped areas to secure postgraduate admission and went to teach in the northwest region of China. Lucas's tech company had already merged into the Brown family, and Sophia, as his right-hand woman, was steadily climbing the ranks. Without the interference of the plot, her path should have been smooth sailing. The weather was clear and bright as I curled up on the sofa organizing documents, when a postcard peeked out from between the folders. I've walked from south to north for 12 years, my sun shining upon me, and I shall follow in her footsteps to see the different faces of the world. I think, isn't this the he ending after all? After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. To my wealthy yet never home husband, I've been diligently playing the role of a devoted simp for 2 years. But he suddenly unlocked the ability to read minds. On the day his first love returned, he handed me divorce papers. With tears streaming down my face, I pleaded, "Honey, can't we stay together? If I have to live the rest of my life without you, I might as well die now." But in my heart, I was thinking, finally, sign it already, you old man. Who could put up with you any longer? A 60 million divorce settlement. These 2 years of simping weren't in vain. Later, I'll call the girls and celebrate at the club with some male models. Hee, I want to order 8. The bastard threw down his pen, refusing to leave, and even wanted to check out the male models I ordered. The living room was brightly lit. With reddened eyes and trembling hands, I handed over the freshly signed divorce agreement, my gaze filled with anguish and struggle as tears streamed down uncontrollably. Unaware of the subtle change in the man's expression on the sofa. What sound is that? Leo's hand holding the pen paused as he lifted his head, giving me a strange look. Was that her speaking just now? With my reddened eyes blinking, I held my breath and cautiously asked, "Honey, what's wrong? Do you regret it?" Did I cry so beautifully that he couldn't bear to leave? Leo's gaze was probing, the confusion between his brows deepening. That voice sounded like hers, an auditory hallucination. Hesitated for 2 seconds. He picked up the pen again. No matter what happened, this divorce was inevitable. His patience had run out after 2 years of a sexless and loveless marriage. I let out a sigh of relief. Sigh. I thought he wasn't going to leave after all. Leo paused mid-stroke with his pen. If he doesn't divorce, wouldn't these 2 years of me playing the devoted fool have been for nothing? Seems I played my part well. Otherwise, he wouldn't have casually offered 60 million right off the bat. Ha 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 ha. This idiot probably still thinks I'm madly in love with him, doesn't he? I was completely immersed in the joy of impending wealth, utterly oblivious to the man in front of the sofa gradually tightening his grip on the pen, his face darkening as if it could drip with gloom, putting on that sour face every day, looking at me like I'm his father's murderer, enduring this high-pressure environment for 2 whole years. These 60 million should at least cover my emotional trauma fees. Once he leaves later, I'll call up my girlfriends. Heard there are some fresh faces at YS. I'll have them save a few for me. Tonight calls for a proper celebration. Just thinking about how he and his first love will be constantly annoying me in front of me from now on makes me want to kick him as far away as possible. I'm done putting up with this. From now on, I'll take my 60 million and my 8 male models to enjoy life on the beaches of Hawaii and Alaska. Hee, perfect. Boom. With the sound, the pen in Leo's hand snapped completely in half. I was startled and asked in a soft, trembling voice, "Honey, what's wrong?" Leo, as if provoked by something, grew increasingly sullen, his originally cold face darkening further, his gaze fixed tightly on me, his narrow eyes narrowing into a dangerous curve. His stare sent chills down my spine. What's he going crazy about? Could he be regretting it? You better not regret it. Show me that same cold, heartless attitude you had when we got married, then just point at my nose and yell, "Ha, you're still delusional to this day, a toad lusting after swan meat. Take your 60 million and get the hell out of here." After a long while, the man seemed to laugh in extreme anger, his thin lips curling in a particularly nasty manner. "I think today's almanac might not be suitable for divorce. Let's talk about this another day. I was thunderstruck. Aw, how dare you mess with me? Calm down. Calm down, endure for a moment, and the storm will pass. Take a step back, and 8 male models await. At this critical moment, do you think you can just divorce or not divorce as you please? Even if a comet were about to hit Earth today, you'd still have to sign your name right here. Leo raised an eyebrow, the corner of his lips curling into a faint smirk. I said I'm not getting a divorce. Aren't you happy, wife? Those last 2 words. The man seemed to grit his teeth. Yet there was an inexplicable tenderness in his tone. I forced out a smile that looked even more pitiful than crying. Happy? Of course I'm happy. I'm absolutely thrilled. I was so overjoyed that I alternated between tears and laughter, completely at a loss. Then, let me cook for you. You must be hungry after coming back so late. I'll make all your favorite dishes. No need. Leo stood up and signaled to the lawyers waiting on either side. I could only watch helplessly as the lawyers put away that 60 million yuan divorce agreement, and then, he looked at me, lips curling slightly. There's still some work at the company. I'll go handle it first and won't be back for dinner tonight. He needs to quickly sort out the chaotic thoughts in his mind now, and perhaps, find another psychiatrist. He strode toward the door. I watched his retreating figure, tears streaming down like rain. Wah, the sky is falling. The 60 million that got away. After that bastard left, I took deep breaths to calm myself down for a long time before finally regaining my composure. I transmigrated into this cliché novel 2 years ago. The original character was just a supporting female role. The cannon fodder ex-wife of the male lead, Leo, the original character's mother had once saved the male lead's grandfather's life. After her mother passed away, the grandfather arranged the marriage between her and the male lead. The male lead was very dissatisfied with the female lead, who sought repayment for her kindness. Moreover, because of this marriage, the male lead's childhood sweetheart and first love angrily went abroad. Therefore, the male lead never treated the supporting female character kindly. After first love returned, the supporting female character became the biggest obstacle between them. She would go mad with jealousy, directing all her hostility towards the female lead, creating a series of heart-wrenching love-hate plots between them, until finally, the male lead could no longer tolerate it and divorced the supporting female character for good. In the end, the supporting female character ended up miserably tightening screws in a factory. I am different from the supporting female character. I don't love Leo. I only love Leo's money, although this bastard gives me the silent treatment. He's quite generous with the female supporting characters. Monthly allowances are at least 6 figures. If I can diligently play my role till the end, stay sensible, and not stir up trouble, then when the divorce finally comes, even just based on the goodwill I've earned from the old master, I'm bound to get a hefty alimony from the male lead. It was almost a done deal. Who would have thought that Leo suddenly went crazy today and decided not to leave after all? I almost cried myself to death. Just then, the phone rang. It's a reminder from my girlfriends. I immediately felt motivated and energized. No matter what happens, going to YS to pick up male models is the top priority. I put on my battle outfit, a sexy, domineering set with black stockings, high heels, and curled hair, then headed out. I left in too much of a hurry. I didn't notice at all that in the Bentley parked downstairs of the villa, a pair of deep eyes watched me leave the whole time. Half an hour later, I arrived at the bar and threw myself into my best friend's arms, crying my heart out. My best friend is named Sarah, female, interested in men, but she has a bit of a quirk. She keeps her hair short year-round and dresses in a neutral style. While comforting me, Sarah said indignantly, "This is too much. It's like hogging the toilet without doing your business. Why doesn't a man like that just drop dead?" I was about to nod in agreement when I suddenly asked, "Are you saying I'm a toilet pit?" The phone rang. I glanced down and saw a message from that damn man. "Honey, what are you doing right now?" I glared fiercely at my phone, thought for a moment, and then replied, "Can't sleep, missing you too much." There was silence on the other end for a few seconds. "I'm at the booth behind you. Bring that blonde guy next to you and come have a drink with me." My pupils contracted sharply, my body froze, and I looked back in terror. Sure enough, I saw him. The man was sitting in the booth right behind me, still wearing the same suit, his eyes fixed unwaveringly on me. I shuddered, almost dropping my phone. Sarah followed my gaze and asked, "What's wrong?" "And nothing." I forced a smile. "You go ahead and check the goods over there. I need to use the restroom. Don't wait for me." After sending Sarah away, I dared to slowly and hesitantly walk up to Leo. He only had an assistant by his side, seemingly here just to drink. The man's gaze swept over me from head to toe, his eyes darkening slightly. My small hands clutched the hem of my miniskirt, wishing I could bury my head like a quail, but I forced a smile. Honey, weren't you working? What are you doing here? Leo sat on the sofa with a faint smile. That's my line. I pinched my thigh, tears streaming down my face. Actually, I was upset by the divorce papers you showed me today. That's why I came here to drink with friends and drown my sorrows. The man remained silent, only staring at me with penetrating eyes, just as I wiped my tears, immersed in my pitiful and lovesick persona, planning to add a few more dramatic lines. A sudden gust of footsteps approached from behind. Someone excitedly patted my shoulder. I looked up and saw my other good friend, Rose. Oh, there you are, I've been looking for you forever. Night Song just got a new batch of male models. And one of them is only 18, young, great body, and sweet talking. I know you love this type, so I specifically reserved him for you in advance, just waiting for you to show up. So, am I a good friend or what? The air fell into an eerie silence, my face froze, and I braced myself, cautiously glancing in the man's direction. The man's eyes were dark and unreadable, his expression inscrutable. The assistant by the booth, usually unflappable, blinked in surprise but then calmly adjusted his glasses as if nothing had happened. Rose seemed to notice him for the first time, her eyes lighting up with admiration. Who is he? Since when do you know someone like this? My heart sank, and I desperately wished I could shut her up. Don't talk nonsense. He's my husband. Rose widened her eyes. Didn't your husband pass away 2 years ago? All right. My anxious heart finally died. I looked fearfully in the man's direction. Honey. Let me explain, Leo spoke with a forced smile. I'd also like to see which type my wife prefers. How about, you show me today? It's over. How could someone make such a huge mess in just one day? Next time we divorce, will he still be kind enough to give me 60 million? No, I only like your type. I shamelessly scurried to Leo's side, my eyes red as I clung to the man's arm, pleading with feigned sincerity. Honey, I don't even know her. She must have mistaken me for someone else. While subtly signaling to Rose, I cooed softly to the man, Darling, let's go home, okay? I'm so tired. All I want now is to go home and sleep with you. Rose sensed the tension in the air and immediately made a run for it. The assistant nearly choked upon hearing such outrageous words. I thought Leo would push me away like he had countless times before, or perhaps go even further and yell in my face. Unexpectedly, the man suddenly grabbed my wrist, applying slight pressure as he directly pulled me onto his lap, with one arm encircling my waist. His thin lips approached my ear as his voice dropped to a husky, bewitching tone. Okay, I followed Leo back to his home. The entire way, my heart pounded with fear as I kept speculating about the bastard's intentions. Filled with unease, the night is slightly deep, the villa is dim and silent. Leo hasn't stayed overnight here in the past 3 years, so usually, I have the master bedroom all to myself. I dawdled my way into the master bedroom, and a bang sound came from behind me. Leo followed me in and casually closed the door. Even in the darkness, I could feel the man's hawk-like gaze fixed intently on me. With each step he took forward, I retreated one step back, until I retreated to the edge of the bed, with no further retreat possible. Suddenly, the man leaned forward, pressing down. I fell back onto the bed, my upper body tilting backward as his hands braced on either side of me. Looking down at me from above, my body tensed like a drawn bow, and I didn't even dare to look into his eyes. Is he actually serious? Don't come any closer. If you take one more step, I swear I'll fight you. A low chuckle echoed through the air. Leaving you alone for 2 years was my fault. The man's slender fingers traced down my waist, his tone meaningful. I understand why you'd think about dirty things outside, and I don't blame you. But don't worry, it won't happen again. He loosened his tie with one hand and tossed it aside, then he began removing his clothes. First the suit jacket, then the white shirt. Damn it, man, calm down. Aren't you supposed to be loyal to your first love? Get back, back off, retreat. The metal belt buckle made a crisp sound. I covered my face with both hands, peeking through my fingers but too afraid to look. Just as all my internal alarms were blaring, the phone rang. I reminded him with a trembling voice, Your phone, don't mind it. The man's voice had gone hoarse as he leaned in to press closer. No, I pressed my hands against his chest, my voice trembling. What if it's something important from the company? Leo paused, picked up the phone, and in the glow of the screen, I saw the caller ID, Fiona, Leo's first love, who had just landed on a plane today. Me, oh no, the man pressed answer, holding it so close I could even hear Fiona's voice on the other end. Leo, what things? His tone was indifferent. This bastard talks to his first love with such an attitude. Serves him right for dragging out 800 chapters of angst without a happy ending. But is it proper for this bastard to pin me down while answering his ex's call? I wonder if it's just my imagination. Leo frowned and gave me a cold glance. I accidentally fell today when I came back. Can you come check on me? Fiona's voice was soft and pleading. Ah, what a manipulative move. Isn't this knowingly being the other woman? Ugh. Trashy man and shameless woman. Leo's eyebrow twitched, his tone as cold and indifferent as frostfall. If you're sick, call a doctor. I don't cure diseases. With that, he walked away. He actually hung up the phone just like that. The man lowered his head and was about to continue what he had been doing. I was completely terrified. The next moment, the phone rang again. This time, it was Leo's mother, Mrs. Collins. Leo picked up his phone, whatever was said on the other end, after the call ended. Leo frowned and stared at me intently for a few seconds, and then, he finally got out of bed. Go change your clothes. Grandpa is back today. We're spending the night at the old house tonight. On the way to the old house, I silently rejoiced in my heart. The old man had truly saved my life once again. That was close. I almost got dirted. What's wrong with this dog of a man? Instead of staying with his first love, why is he looking for me? The man beside me, who had been staring at emails on his tablet, turned his head and gave me a sinister glance. Christina, do you have some misunderstanding about my relationship with Fiona? I batted my eyelashes with exaggerated innocence. Honey, I didn't do anything. Humph, you two are having an affair right in front of me. Do I really need to misunderstand? A vein throbbed at Leo's temple. Anyway, it's not what you think. I nodded obediently. Oh, I don't believe it. Leo rubbed his temples and said nothing more. Arriving at the Collins family ancestral home, in the living room, apart from the old master and Mrs. Collins, Fiona was unexpectedly present as well. This is my first time seeing the female lead in real life. She's indeed my first love. Pure and charming, beyond compare, Fiona Franklin sat beside Mrs. Collins with a radiant smile, their gestures intimate. The Franklin and Collins families have been close for generations, and Mrs. Collins truly raised Fiona as if she were her own daughter-in-law. It must be his mom who called her over. She's never liked me as her daughter-in-law. The moment she got back, she invited Fiona to pair her up with Leo. Just to spite me. Didn't she just take a fall? How is she already up and about? Later, his mom will definitely start subtly comparing me to Fiona, the socialite. Then, I'll be outnumbered and have to endure their jabs in silence. Ah, my life is so hard. Leo frowned and glanced at me. I handed the tea I had prepared in advance for the old man. Grandpa, this is the finest tea I found for you. I heard it can soothe the nerves, aid sleep, refresh the mind, and sharpen the senses. The old man smiled affectionately. Christina, you're so thoughtful, Mrs. Collins immediately stood up as well. Please, have a seat. Coincidentally, Susan is back today, so I invited her over to catch up. It's perfect timing. You two haven't seen each other in years. Fiona stood up, picked up a picture frame from the pile of gift boxes on the coffee table, walked over to me, and smiled, saying, I was in a hurry on this trip, but I also prepared a gift for Christina. I hope you'll like it. I lowered my eyes. Here it comes. The show is about to begin, in a moment. This little green tea is definitely going to question whether I recognize this painting or not. Then the dog man's mother will start giving me a lecture, publicly mocking me for being ignorant and uncultured. Not as good as Fiona. Leo's brows furrowed even deeper. The next second, Fiona looked astonished. Christina, you don't recognize this painting, do you? Mrs. Collins frowned with a look of disgust and reproached. This painting is Wheel of Fortune by the French painter Jackson Pollock. Christina, I don't mean to be harsh, but even if you come from a humble background and haven't been exposed to such things, now that you've married into our Collins family, you should learn from others' strengths to improve yourself. Look at you, these past 2 years, you've made no progress at all. If word gets out that you can't even recognize a painting, aren't you afraid of becoming a laughingstock? Damn it. I'll endure it. If that bastard had divorced me earlier, why would I have to put up with this? Oh, I just want to writhe on the ground, crawl around like a maniac, and destroy the whole world. Beside her, Leo's temple throbbed violently. Enough. The old man's expression turned chilly. There are countless paintings in this world, so what if she doesn't recognize a few? Who can guarantee she knows every single painting that exists? Grandfather is absolutely right, came the low, clear voice. Just a few paintings are nothing. My wife is the founder of the W perfume brand. She's not someone who can be compared to those who merely gild themselves with overseas study credentials yet achieve nothing. Mrs. Collins choked on her words. Fiona looked hurt. Leo, today is grandfather's return, a day for our family reunion, Leo said coolly, his voice icy as he glanced at her with indifferent eyes. It shouldn't be ruined by those with ill intentions. Fiona's expression froze. Leo continued, Susan, you just got back too, you should spend some quality time with your parents. Fiona's eyes instantly turned red. Brother Leo is right, then, I'll head back first. She bit her lower lip, picked up her bag, and with eyes brimming with grievance and brokenness, bid farewell to Mrs. Collins and the old master. In the end, with reddened eyes, she left in utter collapse. The old master took in the scene before him, a glint of satisfaction flashing in his eyes. He then turned to Mrs. Collins and lightly scolded, at your age, you're less clear-headed than the younger generation, truly regressing with each passing year. Mrs. Collins lowered her head in shame. You're absolutely right. The old man stroked his cane, then turned to Leo with a smile that couldn't hide the authority in his voice. I heard, you've been wanting to divorce Christina recently. At these words, the atmosphere in the living room froze. Mrs. Collins also looked this way. Leo's thin lips curved up, and in the next moment, he suddenly wrapped an arm around my waist, saying to the old man in a deep voice, you must have misunderstood. Christina and I have a very good relationship, and we have no plans to divorce, right, Christina? Snapping out of it, I quickly smiled at the old man and said, yes, 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 the sun must be rising from the west. That jerk actually spoke up for me tonight. But isn't Fiona his first love, the female lead? Instead of helping her, he helped me. How did he suddenly gain the ability to see through her act? And what did he mean by what he said in front of the old man? What's this about? Our relationship is great, and we have no plans to divorce. If he doesn't divorce me, won't I lose my 60 million? No, absolutely not. Be quiet, the man's deep voice sounded. You're being noisy. Oh, after dinner, Leo and I were settled into the bedroom on the second floor. Perhaps the damn man was truly exhausted today, as he lay down and immediately closed his eyes to rest, but I couldn't sleep after lying down. Wait, suddenly, I jolted upright like a dying man waking from a dream, but I didn't say anything. Can he really hear what I'm thinking? No way. Leo, you scumbag, bastard, idiot. The man showed no reaction. Oh, seems like I overthought it. Heavy breathing came from beside me. Suddenly, I sensed something was off. I got up and moved closer to the man, only to feel his body burning hot. I softly called out, honey. The next moment, the man suddenly flipped over and pinned me beneath him. Just as I was about to push him away, he seemed to anticipate my move and immediately grabbed my wrists, pinning them above my head, his scorching breath pressing down. His warm breath invaded my nose and mouth. My mind went completely blank. After a long while, the man stopped, tilting his head to pant hotly by my ear. I wanted to struggle, I wanted to hit him, I wanted to slap his face, but I didn't dare. Trembling with grievance and fear, I whimpered, honey, what's wrong with you? Leo's breath was scorching. Grandpa gave me deer antler wine tonight. I was so scared I almost cried. What should we do? Leo stared at my face, his gaze deepening slightly, and then, his movements were gentle as he slowly leaned in towards me. Sorry to make you endure this, I cried. I'm not clean anymore. I never thought I'd lose my virginity the very night I almost divorced that scumbag. Perfect. Not only did I fail to get the 60 million, not only did the divorce fall through, but I also lost the battle and the war, no matter how careful you are. Still couldn't stop the old man. However, the next day, when the old man saw the results, he was in a pretty good mood. On the way back, I leaned against the car window, just wanting to contemplate life. Leo glanced sideways at me, his deep-set eyes still carrying an indescribable joy and satisfaction. What are you thinking about? I didn't speak. The man suddenly reached out, wrapped his arm around my waist, and pulled me into his embrace. He pinched my chin, lowered his head, and kissed my lips. Wife, did last night's events make you this happy? I forced a smile. Yes, husband, I'm really so happy. He leaned close to my ear, lowered his voice, and whispered hoarsely with a light laugh. Then shall we do it every day from now on? A faint blush spread to the tips of my ears, a mix of embarrassment and anger. Returning to Mistwater Villa, suddenly, I bumped into a familiar figure at the villa's entrance again. It was Fiona again. She was still wearing the same pink dress from last night, now slightly disheveled. Her eyes looked swollen, bloodshot even, as if she had been waiting here all night. When she saw Leo, her eyes lit up. Leo remained as indifferent as ever. What are you doing here? Fiona's eyes reddened again, filled with fragility and hurt. I wanted to explain about yesterday, last night. You misunderstood. That wasn't what I meant. I don't want to know what you mean. Leo's tone was cold. You'd better go back early, so as not to worry your parents. He turned to enter the door. Brother Leo. Fiona hurriedly stopped him in front. We haven't seen each other for a long time. I booked that Chinese restaurant we used to go to together today. I have a lot to say to you. You should ask my wife's opinion first, Leo said. Fiona seemed to finally notice me, her eyes carrying a casual disdain and condescension. Christina, Leo and I grew up together. I just wanted to catch up with him this time. You wouldn't mind, would you? Her demeanor seemed certain that I, in the face of her status as the Fang family heiress, would be too timid and insecure to protest. I was already in a bad mood, so I just went straight to being crazy. Grew up together. Why don't you just say you've known each other since the placenta? But my husband is currently studying human anatomy and happens to be short of a test subject, however. For a species like you that hasn't even developed basic decency, using you as teaching material would just pollute the academic atmosphere. This female lead is so fake, and the plot has collapsed into this mess. Why the hell should I even bother continuing? If I'm not doing well, none of you will live. Fiona's face turned a mix of green and purple. Leo raised an eyebrow slightly. With that said, I didn't bother with their expressions anymore, striding through the door with an imposing air. Not looking back, leaving behind a solitary and aloof figure, just, the soreness between my legs was too uncomfortable, and I nearly stumbled on the steps, ultimately diminishing my imposing aura. Leo's lips unconsciously curled slightly at the corners before he turned to Fiona and said, Miss Fang, I merely had a single business dinner with your father many years ago as part of a collaboration, but the way you're phrasing it could easily make my wife misunderstand. However, you just heard what my wife said. I hope you'll maintain your distance from me in the future, otherwise, she might get jealous. The damn man has been acting out of character lately. He used to never come to Mistwater Villa in 800 years, but now he's here almost every day, leaving for work in the morning, coming back at night, and on weekends, he just stays here without leaving. However, he didn't really add any burden to me, though, he takes care of all the food in the villa. And his cooking skills are surprisingly good. He makes dishes I love, brings me jewelry and gifts when he comes home, and even brings me little cakes. Moreover, it's like he can read my mind. I just frowned, and he actually knew I was thirsty and wanted to drink water. Living with him, surprisingly, it's somewhat comfortable, except, at night, that damn man insists on sharing the bed with me, several times. I was so exhausted that I wanted to get up and refuse fiercely, but I was too tired to move. In the end, I just let him be. Gotta admit, he actually has an 8-pack abs. Fiona came to look for Leo several times at the company entrance and the Misty Water Villa, but he never stepped out to see her, nor did he even invite her in for a cup of tea. But it doesn't matter anymore, since the plot has already derailed beyond recognition. Saturday night, the Collins family held an 80th birthday banquet for the patriarch, inviting many people from their social circle. I bumped into Fiona, whom I hadn't seen in ages, at the corner of the venue. She was dressed in an evening gown with impeccable makeup, but whether it was due to her rocky relationship with Leo or not, she looked somewhat haggard, appearing even more like a gloomy, unhinged mess than I did, especially when she saw me. The cold resentment in her eyes was almost palpable. Christina, you must be feeling smug, aren't you? Think you've won, do you? No. Big sister, do you even hear yourself right now? You weren't satisfied with stealing Leo 2 years ago, and now you're still scheming to ruin our relationship. Fiona's eyes seemed to freeze with venom. Leo and I grew up together. We're childhood sweethearts who love each other. His heart has always belonged to me from the start. Why don't you take a look in the mirror? The Collins family is an aristocratic lineage in J City. With your lowly, despicable status, are you even worthy? So what? Call the police then, I laughed. The threshold for J City's aristocratic families may be high, but I've never seen them take in a rabid dog like you that bites randomly. You, Fiona picked up a glass of red wine from the nearby table, ready to splash it at me. Go ahead, aim right here. I leaned my face forward with a grin. Later, I'll tell Grandpa how you caused a scene at his birthday banquet. At best, he'll kick you out. At worst, it'll create a rift between the Collins and Franklin families, leading to a complete fallout. Fiona's face turned livid with anger, but in the end, she didn't strike. She snorted coldly and turned to leave. Leaning against the window, I let out a derisive snort. Someone like Leo is decisive, swift, and strong-willed. If he truly loves someone and wants to marry them, not even the sky falling would stop him. He would marry her no matter what. It's absolutely impossible that he would give up easily just because the old man wanted him to repay a favor. This can only mean one thing. 2 years ago, Leo had no feelings whatsoever for Fiona. In other words, the romantic storyline in the original book actually began after Fiona returned to the country. But as for why Leo didn't fall in love with Fiona as he did in the original book after her return, I have no idea. The birthday banquet was grand. A group of prominent figures from J City came to congratulate the old man, and I even got to meet several founders of well-known perfume brands. Quite a fruitful experience. However, I turned my head for just a moment, and found that Leo, who had just handed me a small cake, was gone. I scanned the room but couldn't spot him. Something's not right. At such an important occasion, Leo would surely stay by the old man's side at all times. He wouldn't be absent for this long. And, not only was Leo not there, but Fiona was also absent. Could it be that the two of them went off for a secret rendezvous? No, given Leo's recent behavior, that was clearly impossible. Something suddenly flashed through my mind, and I immediately called the waiter, asking them to send today's venue surveillance footage to my phone. Then, from the surveillance footage, I saw Leo and Fiona actually entering a private room at the venue one after another, wearing 9-centimeter high heels. I ran to the door of that private room at top speed. Inside the private room, the sound of ambiguous panting, the man's rough gasps and the woman's soft moans, pierced my eardrums like a thunderbolt. The voices were familiar. The man was Leo, the woman was Fiona. For some reason, I suddenly felt my steps grow heavy, as if filled with lead, making each movement labored and difficult. My first thought was, they're the male and female leads. It's only natural, isn't it? It's how things should be. The one who should leave is me, but I couldn't bring myself to move. The blazing sun pierced through the clouds, slanting onto me through the window, yet I felt frozen to the core, my hands and feet icy cold. The panting inside suddenly grew heavier. My body, just about to step away, abruptly turned back. I comfort myself. No matter what the original story is, no matter who the main characters are, as the lawful wife catching an affair, both justice and the scales are on my side. If it's really what I suspect inside, then I'll receive more alimony when we divorce. If not, I walked to the door and used my key to unlock the bolted door. The scene inside instantly froze me in place. Inside the door, Fiona lay on the floor, her face streaked with tears and clothes disheveled, while Leo's clothes were slightly rumpled, his forehead drenched in sweat. His eyes looked exhausted as he held a knife, blood gushing from a wound on his arm. I was shocked and immediately rushed to him. Leo, what happened to you? His breathing was scorching hot, his entire body was burning up. Considering his previous symptoms after drinking deer antler wine, it wasn't hard to guess why he had become like this. When the man saw me, his thin lips curled into a smile. His tense body instantly relaxed, and the dagger in his hand clattered to the ground. I held him in my arms, immediately dialed emergency services, then sternly said to Fiona, who looked panicked across from me, Fiona, the Collins family will not let this matter rest with you. Out of consideration for the old man's birthday, I did not publicize the incident. However, the old man still ended the birthday celebration early and hurried to the hospital to visit Leo. Nearly everyone from the Collins and Franklin families came. Mrs. Collins slapped Fiona the moment she arrived at the hospital. How dare you secretly give my son that kind of thing? What were you thinking? Tears streaming down her face. Fiona replied, Auntie, Mom, Leo said softly from the hospital bed. I'm fine now. You don't need to worry too much. Mrs. Collins looked at her pale son with an four drip in the back of his hand and nearly burst into tears. The elderly patriarch of the Franklin family sincerely apologized to old man Collins by the bedside. Brother Collins, this matter was Susan's fault. Rest assured, I will discipline her strictly. I also hope this incident won't affect the friendship between our two families. Old man Collins let out a cold laugh. Is that so? Do you really think Susan alone would have the audacity to obtain such aphrodisiac drugs, only available on the black market, and carry out such a meticulously planned scheme? The Franklin patriarch's expression darkened. Old man Collins rubbed his forehead and finally sighed softly. For the sake of our long-standing acquaintance and the fact that Leo is unharmed, I will let this matter go. But I will never allow anyone to attempt to sow discord within my Collins family and disrupt the peace of our household. Brother Collins, old man Franklin exclaimed in shock. That's enough. Grandfather waved his hand, as if severing their years of friendship. Leave now, and from this day forward, do not appear before any member of the Collins family again. And so it was. The Collins family and the Franklin family have completely severed their ties. I was actually quite dissatisfied that they simply let Fiona off like that, but I later found out, the reason Fiona returned to the country was because the Franklin family's business had encountered major problems. As a result, the Franklins set their sights on the Collins family, intending to use the majority of the Collins assets to fill the Franklin family's financial hole. But the Collins family isn't a bunch of fools, so, old man Franklin had Fiona return to the country, repeatedly getting involved with Leo, even resorting to drugging him in the end. Once successful, with a bit of luck, the Franklin family could make Leo take responsibility for Fiona, remarrying into the Franklin family after the divorce. This is also the most ideal solution for the Franklin family. After all, Leo and I don't get along, and there's an 80 to 90% chance this will work out, even if luck isn't on our side and the Collins family refuses to take responsibility. We can still shift the blame onto Leo and have them help the Franklin family through this crisis, but their plan fell through. Within J City, there's no one left who can save the Franklin family. The Franklin family soon went completely bankrupt and filed for liquidation. The entire Franklin family relocated and left the capital. There was no need for Grandpa to intervene anymore. After being discharged from the hospital, Leo unexpectedly became somewhat clingy. Sometimes he even moved his work into the bedroom, insisting on working while watching me, but most of the time, I ignored him, lying on the recliner by the floor-to-ceiling window, basking in the sunlight and playing games. And he's also very clingy. He keeps coming over to kiss me, leaving my face all wet with his drool. That night, he pulled me to the living room and led me to a cake. The man whispered, "Today is our second wedding anniversary." I was astonished. He still remembered this. I took a bite, and the cake tasted great. His cooking skills have improved again. Leo, an old-school domineering CEO, is surprisingly skilled in the kitchen. Bonus points. At the very bottom of the cake, there was a small rectangular box. I picked up the box in my palm and asked curiously, "What's this?" "Gift," Leo chuckled. "Open it and see." I frowned as I unwrapped it. This gift is way too small and lacks sincerity. Might as well have given a necklace. If nothing else, some dresses or makeup would have been fine too. What a stingy bastard. I couldn't see the angle, but the corners of Leo's lips curled up, his narrow eyes filled with laughter. After struggling for a long time, I finally managed to open the small box. Inside was just a thin card. Black card with gold trim, absolutely priceless. As I stood there stunned, the man across from me spoke in a deep, magnetic voice. "All my movable assets are in there. From now on, they're all yours." My eyes lit up, my heart pounding like a drum. I jumped up and kissed the man on the cheek. "Honey, I love you to death. From now on, nothing can ever separate us." "Okay." Leo paused for a moment, his eyes growing even darker. "But don't you think you should give me a little something in return?" I froze. What? The man suddenly stood up, walked over to me, and abruptly scooped me up from the chair, carrying me toward the bedroom. My body sank into the large bed as the man leaned over me, his low, husky voice whispering seductively in my ear, "Give me an heir." After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.